Perfect. Thank you, Rishikesh. And it's an honor to actually talk to you guys at Christ University. I've been always looking for opportunities where I can talk to Indian students and get them excited about growth marketing or enterprise SEO. There's a lot of things going on here. Yeah, a little bit of what Rishikesh just mentioned. I think I came from a tech background, so I did my computer science engineering from Vadagara Engineering College back in Kerala, back in 2003. I did a couple of years of software development in India. I worked in Bangalore for Philips Innovation Campus in Hebal, I believe. This was back in 2005. And then I got this opportunity to move to the States. My brother was working here and he said, yeah, why don't you come and give it a try? And interestingly, I got a chance to work at a startup called Grubhub, Seamless and Grubhub. And they were the first guys who came up with the concept of food delivery. I know in India, you have Zomato, Swiggy, all those large companies right now in India who is big into food delivery. But back in 2008, when I just started at Grubhub and Seamless, the founder of Seamless was the first guy. His name is Jason Finger. He lives in New York. He's still a good friend of mine, and we connect once in a while. He was the first guy who defined food delivery, that you can get food delivered from restaurants to people's home. And we were building software for it. And they hired me as an SEO developer, where they wanted somebody who can come in, do a bunch of SEO to a website, bring in a lot of new users to the website who can then convert into buying food on restaurants and then get it delivered. And I worked there for 6 years, and it was a fascinating journey for me because I started as a developer, but then when I left the job after 6 years, I was the head of SEO at that large company, and we were a $4 billion company. When I started, it was like a $50 million company, but then we took a $50 million company to a $4 billion company, and that was massive experience for me. But then I was just lucky to find that company as a startup, and then we went public. The company became a public company. It was a great experience for me. And then afterwards, I got a lot of opportunities to work at large companies like TripAdvisor, the travel company in Boston, then Overstock, and then right now I work at Etsy. So let's get into my deck. I really want to talk about SEO, enterprise SEO especially, and the career opportunities that you have in there. And we'll talk a little bit about growth marketing also a little bit. But then, yeah, definitely have all your questions ready as you hear and share it with Rishikesh. Let me share my screen pretty quickly.
Sure.
Hope you can see my screen.
Perfect.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
And let me do this presentation mode. Oops, not this one. Yeah. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, it is visible.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll talk a little bit about how Google works and what is the need of an SEO. Who came up with this concept of SEO, some of the ranking factors in SEO, difference between enterprise SEO and small scale SEO. There's a massive difference, and I'll definitely talk to you a little bit about that because when you're choosing career, you can definitely decide whether you want to go enterprise SEO or small scale SEO. I repeated ranking factors. A few things that from my 13 years of experience, I'll definitely share something that I knew before when I was out of college. You guys are in college, so I would definitely share some of my things that I felt like, oh, I wish I knew this when I was getting out of college. There's some key industries that I really want you guys to focus going forward. Don't work on old school technology, work on futuristic stuff. So I'll definitely talk a little bit about it. And then I have some good advice for students and young professionals early on. Yeah, before I start, I definitely want to give kudos to my family. I mean, they keep me running. So my wonderful wife, Shiniga, who's from Kannur, Kerala, 2 wonderful girls that I have, and they keep me busy. So Advika and Aditi is my 2 daughters. And we live in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is like southwest in United States. Many people don't know where Utah is, but I tell them that, hey, we are like 5 hours from Las Vegas. So if I take my car and start driving 5 hours, I'll be in Vegas. So it's the state next to Las Vegas and closer to California. It's only a 1-hour flight from California. Yeah, as Rishikesh mentioned, other than SEO, I do a lot of drone photography. I do a lot of photography too, like camera photography. This is my daughter that I took when we had fall colors in Utah. And then I do a lot of gardening we got only 6 months of gardening here. We get a lot of snow in Utah. So I've got 6 months where I can grow vegetables, and I usually rent a space where I can do my own gardening. And I've got some garden space in my house also. But I'm trying to learn as much as possible so that in future, if I end up buying a farm or something, I can still do a lot of gardening there. So yeah, a little bit about my career. As I said, TripAdvisor, some large companies where I've done SEO. I'm also an advisor at a bunch of other startups where I can help founders and entrepreneurs understand the value of SEO and then put the seeds of growth much early on when they are starting a company. And that's something really keep me excited and enjoying. So I do that. In future, I want to start my own company if I can. So maybe that also gives me a good experience talking with these founders and entrepreneurs and investors so that I get an idea around if tomorrow, if I want to start a company, how do I do it? So that's how I started. Yeah, I mean, I do a SEO for large websites, which has millions of landing pages. And that is what enterprise SEO is. So think about if you really want to compare at what I do at Etsy, it's very much comparable with somebody who's doing SEO at Flipkart.com or Amazon.in or Myntra.com, all those Indian large-scale websites. They have to do massive SEO in order to win the game of SEO. So it's very similar, and Etsy is pretty large. We have roughly 1 billion landing pages on Etsy. So it's pretty interesting work that I do, and we'll talk about it. Yeah, there is a tool called SEM Rush where we can really look at traffic to any website. If you run Etsy.com in there, you can clearly see that we drive roughly 259 or 260 million visitors per month from SEO or from Google.com. So it's a large website. If you think of it, like 250 million visitors per month. And if it converts at roughly 2%, meaning that if 2% of the people or 2% of the 260 million decides to actually start buying stuff on Etsy, you can make a lot of orders on our website. So that's how we usually do it. If you look at Flipkart, Flipkart might also do similar, maybe 150 to 200 million visitors for sure, because it's India and India has 1.4 billion people. But in the US, yeah, we roughly get, we are also international. It's not just in the US, but we are big in US, UK, Germany, and we are also launching in India. We'll talk a little bit about India Etsy soon. But if you look at the traffic volume, the graph in the bottom, that's how we brought the growth. We used to have 65 million visitors 3 or 5 years ago, but today we are at 260. And my goal is to really take it to 1 billion visitors or something in the next 5 years. So that is the goal that I have personally for my team as I'm building traffic to the website. So before we start, I mean, basics of SEO, if you really ask me how Google works, if you look at Google.com, which is one of the largest companies in the world, what they usually do is they look at all the websites on the internet and then try to find all that information as soon as possible so that tomorrow, if somebody is looking for something and you have that information on your website, they want to show it to their users. So for example, if they really search for example, Narendra Modi or something, they want to show you the latest thing that Modi did in India like 10 or 15 minutes ago. And in order to do that, they need to find the information on that website as quickly as possible. So think about NDTV or New York Times or Times of India. Anytime they are publishing content, they want to make sure that they find that information as soon as possible so that they can show their users who are looking for information about Modi or whatever that information is. And the role of it, and really, if you think of it, there are billions of web pages on the internet. So their job is so difficult to crawl the entire internet and find all that information as quickly as possible. And they do it really well. And that's why they are one of the largest company in the world because they found amazing technology to find information on the internet. Right. So there are a lot of factors goes in. Once they find the information, they put their algorithms to work and then really find all that information and show the right information. That's why, like, when you search for something on internet or Google, you don't find drugs or anything bad on the internet when they search for it, because Google does a really good job to find websites who are selling drugs or something and get it removed. So their technology is so good, and understanding that technology is one of the job of an SEO, to be honest. And if you really ask me, another thing is, if you look at, I mean, Google is a public company, and if you go and start reading their earnings call or one of their SEC filings where they show how much money they made, how much money they spend, one of the largest spend that they have is storing all this information. Think about it. There are trillions of web pages on the internet, and they have to keep on updating that information on their servers all the time. There's a picture of a server on the left, but they have millions of servers also, or data centers, which store all this information. And the biggest challenge for them is they have a lot of good content on the internet. They have some crappy content also in the internet. And they really want to distinguish that and say, this is great content. I want to store it on my database or data center. This is crappy content. I'm going to ignore it, or we're going to remove it. But the problem is, if they do it all by themselves, it's very hard to do it because there are tons of website and internet information out there. So what they want people like me, like SEOs in the world, to come in, work in different companies, and really tell Google what are the best content that they can find on the website and what are the bad content that they shouldn't crawl on the website. And my job, if you really ask me on Etsy, is to really make sure that we are actually telling Google that, hey, this is the most important pages on Etsy.com, and these are not something for you. This is built for something else. Don't crawl this website, right? And it's a lot of work, to be honest. If you have 1 billion landing pages, think of it. My job is very difficult. Every day, my thinking is to really look at, hey, is Google really wasting their time crawling some stupid pages on Etsy.com? And if they are, my team would really go and start finding fixes to fix that, right? So when the website becomes bigger and bigger, think about TripAdvisor or Overstock or Amazon.com, millions and millions of pages, millions of products on there. Products goes in stock, out of stock, everything. My job is to really make sure that I am giving the right information to Google as soon as possible so that they can find the information as quickly as possible. And if you really ask me, Google is the company who came up with this concept of SEO. They invented this industry. So I'm thankful to Google that they found me a job, to be honest. And I'm really working on this job for the last 13 years. But it's an amazing, interesting way for Google to solve their problem. They made an industry and start getting people to actually do their job, honestly. So I tell to other SEOs in conferences in US that if you think of it, SEO is a spy or a Google agent working in different companies, to be honest, because I do work for Google to make their job easy. So, but Etsy pays me, honestly, not Google. So it's a very smart way of Google to find a way to solve their problem by putting other people in other companies and getting paid by those companies, not by Google, right? It's a very smart way of doing it. And usually, if you ask me what is my regular job, as I said, my job is to really make sure that they are crawling the website in a really good fashion. They're finding the right information on our website, and they are finding the most important information. For example, it's December coming, and we have a lot of Christmas products that we sell on Etsy. My job is to really make sure that all our Christmas products are being crawled by Google as soon as possible, so that if tomorrow somebody is searching for Christmas decorations or handmade greeting cards or something like that, I want to make sure that they see our products on Etsy.com and then actually show it to their users. My other job duty is evangelizing SEO in the company, evangelizing, really educating people. And so I talk to my executive team, like we have a CEO, we have a CMO, we have a CTO, we have a CPO, Chief Product Officer. I get everybody in one room and really educate them that this is how SEO works. This is how you should invest in SEO. Because if you think of it, Our CEO, Etsy CEO, is Josh Silverman. He doesn't have the time to think about SEO or anything. And SEO sometimes is very complex. So we have to sit down with them, educate them that how to invest in SEO, how to put the right team structure for SEO. So that is one of my biggest job. And I meet with them every month, if you ask me. I can ping the CEO any time of the day through Slack and tell him that, hey, Josh, this is not going well, or this is going well, we should do that. And we get the support also from the exec team to get that. So my job is really maintaining that good relationship with the exec team and the other product teams and departments and make sure that they understand SEO. Right? We do SEO audits. We look at our competition. Sometimes if Amazon is selling Christmas gifts, we have to make sure that, hey, we are doing a better job than them so that we can rank better than them. We do a lot of split testing. We also look at what Google is doing on their site so that we can learn that and then make changes to our website to make that happen. There is a lot of Google algorithm updates that happen on a regular basis. If you think of it, google.com is Google's product. So they want to make sure that their product is getting upgraded and updated on a regular time. And my job is to really make sure that what type of upgrades they are doing and what changes we have to make on our website to make sure that the update really works in our favor. Everything is mobile. If you think of it, everybody uses one or two phones on their hands. So we want to make sure that our website is also working well on mobile. So mobile friendliness is a big deal. And then it changes every time. If you really ask me, I read 5 to 10 blogs every day to just understand what's happening in the SEO world. So one of my job is to really set aside 30 minutes to 1 hour, really reading what's happening or what other SEOs are talking about and really understanding how SEO is working. So this is kind of my job duty, if you really ask me. And it becomes really a lot of work once you are managing a large website like Etsy. There's a small difference between enterprise SEO and a small scale website. I would definitely say that if you want to get into SEO industry or SEO career growth, I would start with small websites if you can. Get experience in working in a very small website. If you have a friend who's running a Shopify website who is selling something, we have a lot of DTC brand, direct to consumer brands happening in India right now. Like everything that is stocked in Shark Tank in India is all DTC brands. And if you can help a DTC founder or a owner do some SEO, that is how you actually start learning about SEO. But then once you start learning, you can easily get into large companies like Myntra.com or Etsy or Amazon or Flipkart and then do large scale SEO, right? And I really want to make you sure that you understand the difference in payments also. You get a lot more paid when you're doing enterprise SEO. Like I remember when I started, it was very small, but then as it became complex and then I started managing multiple teams, you make a lot of money, to be honest. I know somebody in India who makes 1 crore as salary just managing SEO for a large company. So there is a lot of potential in career advancement. You don't have to be a software engineer or a product manager. You can be an enterprise SEO experience and still make something what a product manager makes in a company. A small scale SEO, you don't get paid, but I would just still say that to learn the business or learn the SEO industry, you should definitely do some small scale SEO work. So try to do some freelance work or learn through books or internet, like YouTube has tons of videos about SEO. Start following all that. As I said, read tons of SEO blogs that you have on the internet, get into it, do some small scale SEO. And once you start learning, then start shifting into enterprise SEO or large scale SEO. Some of the ranking factors in 2022 and even 2023 would be content is big. So if you're going to a landing page, say, for example, say that you are looking at saris on the internet, like Myntra.com, and they have a page for saris. You need to make sure that what is the trending saris in India right now? You have to add content which helps consumers to understand what should I buy on Myntra, right? And that is SEO, to be honest. If you have all that information, Google will find all that information and say, oh, this website is one of the best websites to buy saris. I should rank this website number 1 on Google. And that's exactly how Myntra ranks for saris on Google, to be honest. We are also trying to get into India market as a brand, as Etsy. We will be selling saris, and my job is to really look at what Myntra and Flipkart is doing and make sure that we do a better job by giving good content to users so that they trust Etsy.com to buy saris tomorrow, right? And when I say content, it's not just text content. It can be images, it can be videos, it can be all sorts of different content. So content is very critical. Architecture is really your structure of your website. If your website is well structured and easily understandable by Google, it's very important. So my job is to really understand how Etsy is built. If there are any issues with the structure, I really raise it, and our team actually goes and fix it. HTML, really making basic HTML so that when Google comes in, they start looking at the content and read the HTML properly. That is also very critical. So my technical background that I had with working as a software engineer really helped me here, because I understand HTML, I understand architecture, and that's why I think I was able to get into SEO really well and really quick because of my tech background. Reputation is really understanding how good your website is. People trust you. If people are complaining a lot about Myntra.com, their SEO will go down, because Google will also find that and say, all the reviews are negative. I'm going to ding this website. So reviews are very critical. I have to work with the reviews team all the time, making sure that, hey, don't get bad reviews for our website, because it affects reputation and it can affect SEO. Links is something like if bloggers are writing about, hey, go to this website, I bought this product from Etsy and it's wonderful. That will also help with Google to understand that, hey, a lot of people are using links to tell people to go to our website. So that is one of the things. In India, if you talk to any SEO, everybody talks about links. And I would say, no, it's not all about links. It's also about content, architecture, HTML, reputation, all those things. But India, for some reason, I don't know, they found a shortcut saying that, hey, if you build a lot of links, your SEO automatically works. Unfortunately, no. Links is just one of the factors, and overdoing is bad, in my opinion. So I would say, yeah, it's time to teach the SEOs in India that, hey, don't go after links all the time. Focus on all the other factors also, which are very critical. So there's a lot of opportunity for you guys to get into SEO and fix the SEO industry in India, but tons of opportunity there. And then user experience is another thing. There was a question about bounce rate. And so if a user is coming to your website from Google and say that they didn't do anything, they looked at the website, they didn't like the design, or they were not able to find what they were looking for, they bounce off, they go back and find another website where they can buy. It's a signal for Google to understand that that website was bad and they shouldn't rank it again. So user metrics is very important. And if you and a lot of people ask me, how is Google able to find your bounce rate? It's your analytics data. How is Google able to find it? If you think of it, Google came up with this browser called Chrome, right? They make $0 out of Google Chrome. They don't make any money for Google Chrome. If you look at their earnings call, you can clearly see that they don't make money from Chrome browser. But what do they get in return? They get data. They get data about what users are doing on different websites on the internet. And the first guy who worked on Google Chrome was Sundar Pichai, and he's the freaking CEO of Google.com. So if you think of it, the data that they get on Google is very important. So that's how Google finds your bounce rate, your experience, your conversion rate, everything. So yeah, Google gets more information than you from Google browser, and they can use that for their algorithms. And toxins are actually bad SEO that you can do. I wouldn't recommend. But again, I don't want to get into actual technical SEO. These are some of the basics. If you really want to read more into it, look for Search Engine Land's SEO table. You have this periodic table where they say, and every detail is actually detailed in there. There are like 50, 60 ranking factors here. If you really want to get into SEO, I would really read and understand everything about it and stop focusing on just link building. I would also do all the other things listed in here, and you have a lot of opportunity in doing a good SEO. If you look at Etsy, search for Etsy, this is what you get. And my job is to really make sure that we put the right things in here so that when a user is searching for it, they understand that, oh, it's a handmade website. It's a vintage website. I can buy home and living stuff. I can buy clothing and shoes. And this allows users to trust the brand and come to our website and do stuff. If you really ask me, Etsy it's roughly right now the market is bad or the stock has gone down, but we are roughly a $10 to $15 billion company. So it's a very large website. We have roughly 110 million products on our website. So think of it. I can do SEO for 110 million products on Etsy. So tremendous opportunity, very large website. Yeah, if you look at jewelry, this is how it shows up. Like jewelry is there. There is a small image of a jewelry product. And then you have a bunch of links saying vintage, jewelry sets, wedding jewelry. So this is all allows users to come from Google and come to your website when they are looking for stuff. This is, again, a lot of people buy custom neon signs. Look at all the images. It gives inspiration for people to buy neon signs on Etsy. Yeah, this is another example. We show question and answer within the search result. It also helps improve SEO traffic because you're answering a question right there in Google, and that drives a lot of additional clicks. Yeah, this is in India. We are ranking for chikan curry lehenga. I don't know what it is, but we sell a lot of them. But look at it. I mean, you have a bunch of images, and if you get inspired, you can easily buy this on Etsy India market. This is another product that we sell a lot. But if you look at it, this is a product page on Etsy, but this is a hand-engraved, like people can write their names. The Hendersons is a name of the family, but I can easily put any name in there. You can pay money and get this thing shipped to you. But if you look at it, we have added all this rating, reviews, pricing information, in stock and out of stock. This is huge for users. And my job as an SEO is to make sure that all our products get this. If you don't do SEO, you don't get this kind of information. So my team worked really hard to make sure that all this information is shown to Google and to Google users so that they can see all that information when searching on Google and then click on the link and come to our website and buy this product. And we make revenue out of it. So this is what SEO is in general. And then SEO comes under growth marketing. So I report to the VP of growth at Etsy. SEO is a growth functionality or growth marketing functionality, right? And if you really ask me, there are like 4 buckets of growth. One is acquisition. Acquisition is really saying acquiring new users to our website. And SEO exactly does that. SEO is an acquisition channel. So it drives a lot of new users from Google to our website. So we do acquisition as a channel. Retention is more after you get a user, you retain them on the site. You make sure that they come back all the time and then keep on buying stuff in the long run. So that is a retention thing. Email marketing is actually a retention marketing tactic. SEO is not a retention tactic. It's purely an acquisition, but email marketing is retention. Engagement is really making sure that bounce rate is low. They are buying, like conversion rate optimization, things like that is engagement. And defensibility is like you're getting that user to stick with your brand so that they don't go elsewhere. Right. So those are some of the bigger topics. But if you really ask me, the opportunity in growth marketing is huge. Marketing is changing, in my opinion, in the last couple of years. Because if you look at companies like Facebook or YouTube or Uber, LinkedIn, Tinder, TikTok, they acquired users so quickly. They didn't take freaking 20 years to become what they are today. They became quickly a large company with a lot of users on their site. And it all happened because they used growth marketing really well. So if you really want to get into marketing, I wouldn't recommend that you should do the old school marketing tactics. I would recommend you should do growth marketing. If you're really interested, go to this reforge.com. This is a company who is doing real-time education on growth marketing. It's an expensive course. It's around $1,000, $1,500 for a year. But once you take it, it's worth it because you learn all the wonderful things about growth marketing, and that can help you get jobs in large companies or startups who are trying to grow pretty quickly. So I would highly recommend you should do it. I've been learning from Reforge for the last 5 years. So I know a bunch of people who actually take the lessons there. So I really trust their content. I highly recommend. Rather than buying a book, I would rather go take this lesson if you have the time and the money. It will be worth it in future. So that was all the technical stuff and a little bit about growth marketing per se and SEO. But as I said, my goal was to really send you some basic information so that you can get into this area if you really want to. And then a few things that I felt like I knew when I was out of college, and I think it will be good for you guys to also think about it. Always think about the industry that are going to be really big for the next 5 to 10 years. So don't work on old school technology, or like I still hear people who wants to work on .NET and Microsoft technology. And I would say, don't go there. I mean, .NET is old. I used to do .NET coding back in 2003 and 2005. This is 2020. I would rather work on some new technologies. And I have a list of technologies that I'll share in the next slide. But definitely think about new technology that you can work on for the next 5-10 years, right? And forget about the old school. There's a massive difference between becoming wealthy and being rich. I would definitely say that you should know a little bit about it. I'm still sad that in Indian universities and colleges, they don't talk about personal finance. I still wish that when I was studying engineering, they taught me about personal finance, because right after college, I went and started making money. Like I started earning money, but I have no idea what to do with that money. I was spending and wasting that money when I could have really invested in good assets that I could have bought. So I would highly recommend that take the time to learn about money, being wealthy, building assets, not being rich, so that you are building assets so that in the long run, your money actually works for you and it compounds and you're becoming big, right? So personal finance is big, in my opinion. I was very late in learning about personal finance. I wish I knew it much before so that I could have done better things with the money. But I'm still not bad. I'm still learning a lot about personal finance, but I still wish that I learned that in college as I was studying all this technical stuff from colleges. So there's a lot of difference between compounding, buying a house versus renting a house. I still see a lot of people when they get their first job, they go and buy a house. And I was like, what in the world are you really thinking? I mean, it's better to rent a house so that you can save money and invest in other areas. So there's so many fascinating education you can get on personal finance before you do mistakes with your money. Time is money. So anytime you get time, I would definitely save that time and consider it as equal to money. So if you have extra time, go study something because it can really help you in future. So I would definitely take time very importantly, rather than wasting stuff on something that is not important. Communication is very critical. That's one thing I tell engineer. I was a regular engineering guy. I mean, I got 60% and I was happy with it. But I really focused on communication and public speaking, and because it really helped me focus on evangelizing SEO with my executive team right now. I can go to a board meeting right now and talk about SEO. So I think communication is very, very important, equal to how technical you are. Like you don't have to be the 99% educated in BTech or engineering or anything. You also need to have communication skills at the same time if you really want to succeed in your career. And then finding your greatness or passion or your purpose is very important. I'll recommend some books that I highly recommend reading. One of the, 2 books. This is Josh Kaufman. He has written 2 amazing books, The First 20 Hours to Learn Anything. And this is a great book. The Personal MBA is another one of my favorite books. I will highly recommend that you guys should have this book and you should read this book. And he really tells you that you can learn anything in the world. It doesn't have to be always something that you learn in college. You can learn piano, you can learn dancing, you can learn acting or anything in the world if you really spend good 20 hours on that stuff. And then from there, you can actually go and learn even more. There is a good talk by this guy in YouTube, if you search for it. If you spend 20,000 hours on any topic, and let it be any topic. It can be space, or it can be aeronautics, or it can be any complex thing on the world. And if you spend 20,000 hours, you can be an expert. Like Elon Musk, honestly, if you really dedicate 20,000 hours in it. And Josh is great in explaining that. So I highly recommend these 2 books. Some of the top industries that I was talking about in future, these are some of the top topics I would highly recommend. The aging population is an interesting thing. A lot of people were born in 1946 to 1964, and they are all getting old. They are getting 70 years old right now. And there are a lot of money with them. Honestly, they work there hard and they made all this money, and now they are sitting at home or they are in retirement homes or somewhere. So there's a lot of potential in building products and technology for these people. And a lot of people are not understanding that or not thinking about it. So highly recommend you think about innovative products that really can help this aging population going forward, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity where you can build amazing companies around baby boomers. Blockchain is big. I'm still a big believer of blockchain technology. Cryptocurrency is, a lot of people know about Bitcoin or Ethereum. I would highly recommend focus on blockchain, big opportunity. Quantum computing is big. Facebook, Google, everybody works on quantum computing, so big deal. Robotics, household helpers, big deal. Tesla is actually working on a robot who can actually help you in your kitchen right now. They are building an amazing robot in there. So robotics is huge, amazing industry. And if they click, everybody will start going behind it. Artificial intelligence is big. Augmented reality, virtual reality, metaverse, it's going crazy in the US. So I highly recommend looking into that area. Yeah, spend that 20 hours or 20,000 hours into these technologies and you can be an expert and you can easily find a job. Self-driving cars are big. Every company will be a data company. Look at Tesla. People believe that they are a car company. They're not a car company. They are a data company because they have so much of data about roads and infrastructure on the as the cars are driving. So I wouldn't say Tesla is a car company. They are a data company. And then there is an amazing study that 90% of the retail in the next 5 to 10 years will happen online. So I believe that in the next 5 years, my job is guaranteed because tons of websites will pop up and they all need SEO help. So again, I would say SEO is a great career if you really want to get into, because the next 5 to 10 years, 95% of the retail will happen online. I still don't know why people are still building malls and large shopping malls, because I don't think all the people will be there. They might go there, but they won't buy stuff. They will buy everything online. So it's a very interesting area. Some personal, final slide, I believe, some personal advice from my good, to have a good life. Definitely find compassion. I highly recommend reading this book. It's called Ikigai. It's an amazing book. I'm a big fan of it. I would buy tons of copies and give it to my family, honestly, because it was so fascinating. It talked about how Japanese people are so fond of living their life to the fullest, not go after money and all that stuff. They find happiness in whatever they do. And they live forever. I mean, the total number of people who have lived more than 100 years are highest in Japan. And that's because of this Ikigai concept that they have. So highly recommend, make some bold decisions. I highly recommend. In India, I see a lot of things where, yeah, parents will tell you what to do, or your family will tell you what to do. Don't go with that. I mean, go with your personal thing, personal fashion. Yeah, I mean, everybody is an engineer and a doctor, and I wish I knew about photography before. I would have become a photographer rather than being an SEO person. I'm happy with SEO, but I still feel like I could have done different things in my life. Definitely be committed, like finish what you begin. Do a little bit of better than what you can every day. There's a good story about Bill Gates. He washes his dishes every day in his house. And there's a good story where Bill Gates said that, like, it's so boring, like washing your dishes every day. Like, how do you do it? And he tells that every day when I'm doing dishes, I try to do that job a little better than what I did yesterday. So if you can have that as a practice, you can be better at anything, honestly. If you're studying, yeah, if you try to study better than what you did yesterday, you'll be a better student, I would say. Yeah, be curious all the time. Growth mindset is something important. Josh really talks about it in his books all the time. There's a good book written by Carol S. Dweck called Mindset, where they talk about growth mindset and fix-it mindset. And I was so impressed by that book. Like, that got me into photography or drone photography or even gardening because of that growth mindset and not having a fix-it mindset. So highly recommend thinking about growth mindset and reading that book. And try to put yourself in hard situation. I see a lot of people in India and other places where they're like, okay, my parents going to help me, so I don't have to worry about anything. Don't get into that work. Try to be in hard situation where you can be in trouble sometimes and then get out of it. And that will teach you a lot of things, right? So I would highly recommend get into hard situation if you can. And don't make your life so convenient so that you don't never get into a hard situation. It will teach you a lot of stuff. And there's a bunch of books. I'll definitely share this slide with Rishikesh afterwards. But these are some of my favorite books if you are into self-help books. And it will definitely help you as you actually build your career and also enjoy your life, honestly. Try to run as fast as possible, but I think I want to get any questions that you guys have at this time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for that wealth of information and experience you shared. And I think it covered most of both your personal as also your professional journey. And it was, as always, it was a pleasure listening to you, and everything was just brilliantly articulated and well sequenced. I mean, that's something which I really liked about your presentation. And these are, and you also, brought in a lot of inside stories that we probably academics wouldn't be able to bring in unless we initiate conversations with practitioners like you.